Hi, this is Gertrude Mate here in Wellington, New Zealand. Today I decided to put together this workshop to talk a little bit about how to create a winning book title. Now, by now, most of you have watched the first video in this book series, and you know a little bit about my backstory and how I became an author 10 years ago. Well, I was fumbling at that time. I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a coach, and I've learned a few things along the way in terms of how to craft a winning book title. The thing to remember about your book title is that the title of your book is a noun and the subtitle of your book is the verb. So let me explain. You could pick a random word for the subtitle of your book. It wouldn't really matter. What is really crucial is the subtitle of the book, because the subtitle describes what your book is about. So in the subtitle, you need to have those verbs that describe the content of the book. The best way to look at this is to think about your end reader, or the person who's going to go online to look for your content. Think about the keywords that they would type into Google or into the Amazon search engine to find your kind of content. One author who does this really well is Seth Godin. Seth Godin uses what's called disruptive marketing. His book titles are very quirky, very out there, very eye-catching. This book is entitled The Purple Cow, and it's not only unusual, but the cover is printed landscape and not portrait. But when you actually read the book, it is portrait. The subtitle of this book is Transform Your Business by Being Remarkable. Seth Godin is truly remarkable in this sense. Everything he does is quirky, it's funny, it's out there, it's memorable. It is remarkable. You do remember who he is. Another book that I really love, that really took my attention when I was a writer, is called Who Moved My Cheese? Now, Who Moved My Cheese? Subtitle is An Amazing Way to Deal with Change in Your Work and in Your Life. Again, quirky, unusual, and Dr. Spencer Johnson did a really good job in writing this really short, quick read. It's about 94 pages, but this book became a bestseller. I think the title really was the winning thing in that instance. So think about your title, think about your end reader, think about the user, think about the person who's going to be looking for your content. Let me tell you a little bit about my books. My first book is a memoir. It's entitled Born on the Continent. The subtitle is an African word, Ubuntu. This was a happy mistake that has generated an amazing career for me. Born on the Continent, Ubuntu is my life story. I used Born on the Continent because I wanted people to know that I am born on the African continent. And I think that my photograph reflects that. I always wear traditional African clothes as part of my branding when I speak and on all of my book covers. And you can see a very subtle watermark of the map of Africa that has been put around my face in this book cover. The subtitle, Ubuntu, is a philosophy. And when I wrote this book, I realized that not a lot of people knew about the Ubuntu philosophy, and I wanted to find a way to illustrate it by wrapping the philosophy in my life story. What has ended up happening is a lot of people go on Google and they will Google the word Ubuntu, and Linux software will pop up as being the main thing that anybody talks about Ubuntu. What people don't know is that Ubuntu, yes, it is Linux software, but Linux actually stole this concept from an African philosophy. Now, let me explain the philosophy. The philosophy, literally translated, says a person is a person through other people. And I felt that through my life story, I am a sum total of all of the people that I've met in my life and through my travels. And I wrapped the philosophy in my story. And now my book has been picked up in the academic world because the Ubuntu philosophy is actually a subject in social anthropology. So now I get to lecture around the world. The book is an easy read because I illustrate the philosophy by giving very vivid and clear examples. And now the book is being translated into German, into Spanish, into Portuguese, into Arabic, and into French, because people are actually seeing the value of teaching this philosophy through my life story. My second book was really evoked because I was giving a presentation, and I realized that with every speech that I gave, I could create a book. So a lot of times people will ask me to come in as a presenter, and they have a theme to the conference, and people always want to walk away with a piece of me at the end of the presentation. So this book is called It's Not About What Happens. The subtitle is A Practical Guide to Overcoming Life's Challenges. Again, very simple book title, but if somebody was in Google or on the Amazon search engine and they were looking for books that could help them overcome challenges, my book would probably come up. So the third book that I want to share with you is the book that is based on today's workshop, which is How to Write a Book in 40 Hours. And this book has been absolutely amazing. I have changed the subtitles since I published this book. It's now 12 easy steps to write and publish your book on both Amazon and on Kindle. So these are just a few examples, and I have helped a lot of authors from all over the world to publish their own books. This is an amazing memoir by a lady who is based in New Zealand. It's called A Button Off My Shoe. Now, with memoirs, you have poetic license in terms of what you're going to call your book. And it could be a little story in the book that then comes to the fore as being the thread that is pulled throughout your book. You can decide. Another one of the authors that I really love is this book by a friend of mine, Brenda James, who's based in Auckland in New Zealand. Her book is called Suicide, There Is Another Way. Very, very strong title. She is giving her life story as an example of how she helped herself get over depression. Another interesting book is this book called My Walk on the Wild Side, A Journey to Africa That Changed My Life by George Arts. George Arts is based in Australia, and he wrote this amazing book of traveling to Africa. It has a lot of photographs and pictures of his trip to Zimbabwe, and he now uses this book to fundraise for this foundation that supports all these beautiful little children in Africa. Another author who I have helped to write a book is based in Egypt, and Marwa Salah's book is called Life Outside Your Comfort Zone. Subtitle, An Inspirational Guide to Break Your Boundaries and Discover Yourself. Mara is an amazing life coach, and she coaches people, again, by giving very vivid examples of how you can live outside your comfort zone. I love this book. This is another book by a lawyer based in Australia, in Victoria, Australia. It's called In Case of Emergency, written by a lawyer. Her name is Jackie Borman, and the subtitle of her book is A Practical Guide for Young Families in the Event of Injury or Death. Things we really don't want to think about, but we should. Another amazing lawyer. So I really wanted just to share some of these book titles with you so that you can really think about how you are going to come up with the title of your book. So to summarize, remember that the title of your book is not as important as the subtitle. The title of your book is the noun. The subtitle of your book is the verb. The subtitle describes what the book is about, and it should include the key words that your potential readers will type into Google or will type into the search engine on Amazon to find your particular content. I hope this workshop has helped. Good luck with coming up with a winning book title. I suggest that you go online and look for your title. See if somebody has already used it. If it has already gone, you can still use the same title. All you do is change the subtitle so that there is a difference. A lot of people think that because there's one book that's already written with the title of your book, you can't use it. That's not true. You can use it. The subtitle will differentiate your book from the other author's book. So have fun with this. I do suggest that you come up with 2 or 3 titles of your book. Test them on friends. Talk to people that you know. Post them through your Facebook groups or your Facebook friends and do a poll and see which title is the winning title, because people give you feedback, especially through Facebook. I love Facebook. I use a lot of my friends to help me come up with winning book titles as well. So thank you for listening to this small workshop today, and I will be coming up with more information for you on how to write a book in 40 hours. Take care. Bye.